Josh Darrow, Larry Bluestein.
Right there, buddy.
Show them what they got. Of course you are.
Everybody's got them.
Everybody's got them. Auto Nation Grid Hour report here on SouthFloridaHighSchoolSports.com each week. We're out at least 10 games, sometimes more. This man might get to 10 games by himself. But each week we want to showcase a handful of kids that we have been able to see up close that maybe not sit atop your top 50 list, but certainly are deserving of recognition, and some might even break into that top 50 that deserve a little bit more. Let's start with that Northwestern St. Thomas game, clearly dominated by St. Thomas Aquinas. So many different weapons on both sides of the ball, but maybe a weapon that people should become more familiar with, and he had a good game against Northwestern, and always a good outlet, a favorite outlet for a quarterback would be tight end Sean Bender.
Well, this is where I start feeling my age, because I remember Sean's dad, Chuck, who played on the offensive line at North Miami Beach High School back in his day. Then he's coached. He coached a long time at PPO and gave his son a kind of a canvas to start out. He had him all the way from Pee-wees all the way up, and now he lands at St. Thomas Aquinas, senior, but he has an opportunity to do some good things. He's a fast kid, so when he lines up at the tight end spot, he's often going to draw maybe a safety or a linebacker to go with him. So he's often going to cause a mismatch. That happened the other night. Glinton tried to go with him but couldn't keep up with him until the end. And I'll tell you what, this is a kid, Josh, that can run patterns. He'll block because that's what he learned to do first, and you have to do that at St. Thomas to get on the field. He's one of those guys that's the unsung heroes. There's a lot of guys on the field, like the kid Goldberg at linebacker and John Ankowitz, guys who fill in, and Jake Stewart who came up with a big return. Those type of guys, and I think he fits right in that mold as one of those guys that you don't look at the beginning and say, well, we have to game plan for him. But at the end of the day, he's got 5-6 catches and he's hurting you.
When you say Deerfield Beach, the first person you think of and should think of would be Brandon Powell, who's going to the University of Miami. But after seeing them in the spring, attending one of their practices, and also seeing this player at a camp, and then watching their highlights from Northeast, a lot of people are high on Deerfield Beach, and rightfully so. I think one of the reasons that could play a major difference is the play they're going to get from Denarius Graham.
Officially, he is. He has a
That would be their quarterback.
Yes, the quarterback. He has the strongest arm in the state, and it was proven 3 years ago when he was in the 9th grade, when he did throwing. It was with the wind, so he had a little aid of a wind, but the kid threw the ball 80 yards. So when you throw the ball it's outstanding. But we also saw in the spring against Crop where he started to learn how to harness that. That was been his trouble. Remember, he hasn't played in 2 years.
Right.
So making up for that lost time, it's awfully nice to have Aaron McNeil and Brandon Powell, as defense, and a plethora of wide receivers and tight ends, and a great line. This is a kid who's a difference maker. I can tell you right now, when he's going to give them the chance against the St. Thomases. He'll give them the chance against Miramars. He has that opportunity because he's got that long arm. He can get it in there. He's learning how to read defenses now, which is important. He can run a little bit. So that's a quarterback who's way under the radar. We've talked about him a little bit, but I think everyone's going to find that out quick.
And I also think he elevates Deerfield's chances to do something special.
Very much so.
This season. All right, finally, a guy that was probably missing in action quite a bit as well, and glad to see him resurface for Homestead now. We saw him in the Kickoff Classic against University School, and he definitely stands out. I mean, you watch this kid play, and just he passes the look test, not only from what you see, but then obviously by his performance, and then also had another good game, followed that up in the opening seasoning win against Boyd Anderson, and that is Frank Newman.
Wow. Starting his career as a 9th grader at Palmetto, and then finally, roundabout way here, there, and finding a home at Homestead. And then, they have one of the more underrated linebacking corps. We watch them.
You're high on Mr. Wynn.
Well, everybody has to be. That kid's a big kid. Just because he wears a larger number and plays up and down doesn't matter. But I'll tell you something about Frank Newman. He's the type of kid that he's that team player. He'll come up to you and try to get you going. He and I like that in him. And I saw that from day one when he was with Palmetto. I remember when even though he was so young, he was trying to get everybody rallied. He was on kickoffs. He did everything. This is a guy, who has, like you said, everybody deserves different, a lot of chances, and he's got an opportunity to make the most of these chances. He's doing well in the classroom now. He's trying to get everything in order. He's got a great coach. I mean, this is a coach who originally coached him, Coach Coffey, who originally coached him back 3 years ago at Palmetto. Now he's with him here, and I think it's what an advantage. What an advantage that you have somebody that understands you and understands your past, but also knows what you're capable of doing in the future.
All right, there we go. Three players that definitely showed up very well, did well for themselves, and I'm sure will do well throughout the season. Sean Bender, tight end, St. Thomas Aquinas. Denarius Graham, quarterback from Deerfield Beach, and linebacker Frank Newman from Homestead. Always doing well for himself. Larry Bluestein, and always doing well for us, Auto Nation.
All the time.
The Auto Nation Gridiron Report here on SouthFloridaHighSchoolSports.com.